Hey everyone, Mike on Memorial Tuesday coming to you. Yeah, we took the day off for the most part. First, we at Country Visions want to thank all those veterans and the families of the veterans for all that they did to make this one of the greatest countries in the world. Thank you for your sacrifice. We really appreciate that. Today I wanted to touch base on some pests that are moving our direction as the environment continues to warm. The alfalfa weevil, the black cutworm, these are the early pests that start getting into some of our crops. So let's start with alfalfa weevil. We are currently, you need somewhere between 250 to 300 heat units when this pest starts becoming more active and a challenge for those alfalfa stands out there. Oshkosh, last week was somewhere around 250 heat units, where Shawano was about 219, 220, and Plymouth was at about 180. Again, I don't have the weekend calculated into that, but basically at that 250 mark to 300, this pest starts becoming more active. So now is the time to start out there looking at the crop, looking for pinholes, cutting, worm activity, and then making decisions as to, am I at a stage that I'm cutting this crop as part of the management of the pest as well as the crop itself, or do I have time to spray because the crop isn't ready yet to come off? Again, talk with your agronomist from Country Visions on what's the best strategy for your field, your operation, because as just the heat units that I just gave you tells across the territory is a pretty wide window of harvest and maturity coming forward. Moving to the next challenge will be the black cutworm. This will be on corn primarily, but the state has traps set up basically on the 151 corridor. So from Platteville all the way up through to the north into, beyond 151 up into Door County. And what they've seen in the flights so far this season, that last week we had a lot of activity. So these moths are going to lay eggs in various places that have cover for them. It might be in a field that's got cover crop in, residue in, might have your current crop growing in it, but they're looking for places to lay eggs, etc. We are now in also the heat unit window here in the eastern part of Wisconsin, that we should be watching for those insects. Different than in the past years, a lot of our crop is smaller because of the later planting date. That actually lines up better with the black cutworm. He likes to cut the smaller plants. When we get to a larger size, they tend to leave them alone. So we have a lot more overlap between the black cutworm being active and the smaller corn plant. Again, 2 to 5% cutting, depending on which literature you look at, is typically the range. Talk to your Country Visions agronomist on what's right for you. Part of my thinking is, if you have some cutworms to deal with, that 2% might be the direction you lean towards, because as we watch over the value of our crops continue to go up because of the limited planting that's going on. So again, it's an economic threshold, so the value of that crop changes with the price of the commodities out there. Other questions, feel free to give us a shout. For those folks who are still looking at putting some corn in the ground as we approach the insurance date, we at Country Visions are looking at what options are available for shorter day corn for those folks who are looking to get stuff in the ground. But again, that'll be a one-on-one conversation, so feel free to give us a call and see what the needs are, as well as if we can get some good weather to catch even a chance at estimating a planting date at this point. With that, have a great week. we'll talk to you next week.